Hey special family, welcome back to another autism video Reddit edition. Today's title is Why Do People Seem to Forget Autistic Adults Exist and Refuse to Afford Them the Same Support and Care They Give Autistic Children? This is a discussion, and so far I'm loving the title because that is a very good discussion that nobody addresses a lot. So let's get into it. Yes, things are better now than when I was growing up, but things are still nowhere near where they should be. Everything from being more reluctant to diagnose adults that went under the radar as kids, to pushback on adults with autism existing, to just a general lack of support structure in place for autistic adults compared to the amount of support for children. Good points. Hell, there was a post here the other day talking about schooling and how the special education kids are treated versus how the teacher and staff with autism are treated, being very night and day. It is just that folks expect adults with autism to no longer have autistic qualities, or that we all end up in some group home never interacting with the world outside. Genuinely, what do people think happen with autistic children once they become adults? It is really as simple as out of sight, out of mind. That is a very, very good question because for some reason people tend to forget or seem to forget that autistic children become autistic adults. So what happens then? Do their needs automatically disappear when they become adults? Do they don't need any assistance anymore because now they have grown out of it, or they miraculously got healed? I would like to know the answer to this question too. Let's go to the comment section, shall we? Okay, Super Derslack says, when I was a kid, unless your case was severe enough that I couldn't be overlooked, you would not get diagnosed, not to mention support. What you could get was bullying, punishment, labeling, and such. And it just carried over into adulthood. She never lied. Where's the lie? Bubble says, why they simultaneously lie to your face, saying it will get better as you get older. Super Dursiak says, no, nobody told me that until adulthood, but I did get likened to some famous figures, the likes of a certain Austrian painter. Next commenter. Muted 87298 says, it's frustrating. I can't work, drive, or live on my own. So if it wasn't for my family, I would have been left to flounder. I have disability living allowance, but that's about it. Psychedelic Piper says, when I turned 18, I ended up in the psych ward for wanting to end my life. I felt like it was over for me, and in a way I was right, because the lack of support I've received as an autistic adult has been astounding. Same goes for my older sister. Heck, even as a teenager, I had adults treating me very negatively. At 31, I feel like I should be 21. Okay, next commenter. I suspect I'm undiagnosed, and this post hits the nail on the head. It's so hard to research about this thing that would perfectly explain and recontextualize my whole life when most of, not all, support systems and initiatives are exclusively for kids. Bureaucracy is one of the number one things I struggle with, and the fact I have to go at this alone is annoying at best. CM 1974 says, you hit the nail on the head as a 50-year-old dad of an autistic son. I can't help but feel somewhat judged by the exact same supportive people who lay out the carpet for him. Not to say I'm not grateful for how great they are to him, but I don't think they realize the strange, emotionally distant, depressed, creepy, immature, and out of here me is indeed the end result. Once you have children as an autistic person yourself, it's like the expectation for you to suddenly become the perfect social, neurotypical parent is real, and it's a daily reminder of just how broken you are. So Scott99 says, because adults refuse to believe that some people develop at a slower pace than other, and that's anyone that struggles with basic day-to-day tasks is just lazy. Like that say, I have the maturity of a 12-year-old at my worst. Socially, I'm usually stuck around that maturity level. Big Rasher says, I've had a lot of trouble because of this. Even had doctors straight up tell me I'm lying. Despite being diagnosed, because autistic people apparently had no free will. This is despite the fact I could not talk properly until I was 5. Was in special school until I was 15, needed extensive speech therapy, etc. I barely managed to get disability allowance, but had to give that up when I moved to the UK. Tried applying for similar over here, no luck whatsoever. Basically, unless you're high support needs with a cognitive impairment, look and act stereotypically autistic, you're not autistic. Preach. Next comment. So, as Milk says, yep, not easy being autistic as an adult. I'm 28 years old, homeless, no family or prospects, but I do have Reddit friends. Aw, poor thing. White Hack says, well, I guess there's a fine line to thread and a delicate balance to maintain. Balanced autistic people don't want to be infantilized, yet they do in many cases have higher support needs. I personally fit into this category, even though I've had many jobs and completed several degrees. As to what one possible solution might be, I really think a big part of that solution would be to get more autistic people, actually in disability advocacy roles within government. Good point. Unfortunately, that depends on the government of the day and their practical political views. One possible solution to that might be to build in disability right into the Constitution, although as an extension of human right, it should already be there. Okay, next commenter. Johnny Jimmy says, once we were adults, we are proficient in masking. Undell says, yes, but not everyone. I can mask successfully, but I know people who can. Archer says, it's also more and more exhausting. I find myself less and less able to mask as my life demands go up. It's like you plan too many things and needed to drop one commitment, and for me, it's usually sleep and masking that goes the shit first. Sorry, I was only diagnosed 4 months ago. Still a lot, I don't know. A few years back, I decided to talk less, and I only just found out that was masking. Yep, it is. Next. Letter Piano says, because we get better at masking as adults, and because despite what the media tries to say, no one really cares about anyone else. I mean, just for example purposes, they tell you to reach out if you're depressed and need help. But when you reach out, you're ignored or you're treated poorly. Heck, I called the suicide hotline and was told some people's lives just aren't worth living. And then when you have enough and give up everything tries to claim, oh, but there were no signs. Bull. I'm firmly convinced it's just because no one really cares. People care about kids because they're small and cute, but adults, nah. If you're unwell and your hygiene lags, then that makes it even worse. I was reading during my AMP class that autism is quite literally an abnormality or a defect in our frontal lobe. It's a literal physical difference, and it's not something most people can grow out of. But again, no one really cares about that. You're different, might be hard to tell you're different, but people can see, therefore, you're ostracized. Let's talk about this in the comment section below because it is true. Kids with autism get a lot more treatment, a lot more help. There are a lot more avenues open for them. But once they become adult, it's like the door gets slammed shut and peace be with you. Figure it out. So let's talk about it in the comment section below. Why do people that are adults get less help than kids? Catch you in the next one. Bye.